and did as she was bid. The woman smiled and moved on into the crowd. The loud musical chimes of Big Ben made her jump. She automatically glanced down at her wristwatch as they continued. Thank goodness they'd alerted her to how late she was going to be if she didn't hurry. Deciding against worrying about Lily's folly, Alice thrust the leaflet into her skirt pocket and turned right onto Whitehall. The tall buildings with what her father liked to call architectural details, of pillars and scrolls, were invisible to her as she focused on reaching W&G Foyles Bookstore on Charing Cross Road, where she worked as a shop assistant. Alice's stomach churned, and she felt nauseous thinking about the confrontation between Lily and their father, but she told herself she could say, hand on heart, and on a stack of Bibles, if her father insisted, that she hadn't seen Lily at the demonstration. Two men in dark suits walked in front of her and lit cigarettes. She wrinkled her nose when the slight breeze caught the smoke and it wafted in her face. Their black trousers held sharp creases, which had been ironed in, front and back, matching their long sack coats. Bowler hats were perched precariously on their heads. "What do you think, then, about the Austrian being shot?" the smaller man asked his companion, tucking a newspaper under his arm. "I can't see why the shooting in Sarajevo should affect this country." The man lifted his arms slightly to adjust the position of his daily paper. "No, let's hope not. We have enough problems," he responded, pausing to listen to the women's voices as they carried through the air. "Those women are causing havoc." The taller man laughed. "I'm more concerned about the unions and the talk of a general strike." "Yes, the thought of strikes is worrying," the other man sighed. "The unions are getting stronger, and if the miners, transport workers and dockers all stop work, it'll bring the country to a standstill. The threat of it alone is already putting up prices. Mark my words, it won't be long before it affects my grocery business, and I'll be the bad person when the prices go up." "We've noticed it at the factory, too. It could be a rough ride ahead. My wife is already complaining she can't get what she needs from the milliners." Alice sighed. Anxiety threatened to engulf her. Having no desire to overhear their conversation, the same one she had heard 100 times over between her older brother Robert and her father, she stepped out into the wide road to pass the two men. All this talk of strikes, and now Lily getting involved in politics. At 20 years old, her younger sister wanted to take on the establishment. Alice shook her head. Talking to her feisty sibling before she got arrested was paramount. Their grandpa Gettin was always saying Lily was like their mother, Sarah, when she was her age, and she in turn reminded him of her mother, Alexandra, when she was alive. Alice quickened her step. Her grip tightened on her empty shopping bag as it swung by her side, brushing against her black tulip-shaped, ankle-length skirt. A red tram approached. She was convinced they were travelling faster than they used to. She stepped onto the pavement as it trundled past. The breeze blew a strand of her long brown hair across her face. Her slender fingers pulled it away and pushed it behind her ear, under the narrow-brimmed hat, before checking the small pearl earrings nestling on her earlobes. The men's voices faded into the morning air as each step took her further away. "Read all about it!" a newspaper boy yelled, pulling at his flat cap to keep the sun off his face. His brown jacket looked worn and threadbare. His black trousers sat an inch above his scuffed shoes. "The heir to the Austrian throne and his wife shot dead in Sarajevo." Men in suits swarmed towards the boy from all directions, frantically searching in their trouser pockets for the halfpenny needed to buy the newspapers that were under the lad's arm. "Your change, sir." "Keep it." The man stepped away, staring at the front page. "Come on, lad, I'm going to be late for work." "Hold on, mate." The boy handed over the paper and quickly pocketed the money. Alice crossed Trafalgar Square where the tall column was sighted, with the famous Admiral looking down on Londoners going about their business. The National Gallery stood tall and vast on her left as she made her way along Charing Cross Road. Drivers of the horse-drawn carriages were careful to avoid the motor cars as they drove past. The dull thud of the hooves clip-clopping on the tarmac provided the usual melodic background for the engines coughing and spluttering above them.